Thanks for joining me once again. In this next video, we will be going a little bit deeper into what stocks are. The sole reason that stocks exist are to expedite the trade of securities between buyers and sellers so it can limit the risk of investing. Think about how challenging it would be to sell shares if you had to go door to door in your neighborhood attempting to discover a buyer. In all actuality, the stock market is nothing more than a super refined flea market connecting buyers and sellers together. As we learn and grow, we may begin to differentiate between the primary market and the secondary market. The primary market is where securities are made, by method of an IPO. And in the secondary market, investors will trade securities that have already been issued without the inclusion of the original business who issued the security in the first place. The secondary market is what individuals point to when they speak of stocks typically. It is likewise vital to understand and grasp that the trading or bartering of an association's stock does not directly include the group during the actual trades. The most prestigious trade exchange in the planet is the New York Stock Exchange, denoted by the letters NYSE. 24 New York City stockbrokers and business owners established the, quote, Big Board in 1972 with the making of the Buttonwood Agreement. As of now, the NYSE, with stocks like General Electric, McDonald's, Citigroup, Coca-Cola, and Walmart, is the market of choice for the greatest groups in America. The New York Stock Exchange is the first sort of trade, as I pointed to, where a great point of the changing is done close up and personal on a trading floor. This is also known as a listed exchange. Requests go in by way of firms that are part of the trades and rush down to floor specialists who head off to a particular spot on the floor where the actual trade is actually exchanged. At this area, known as the trading post or trading station, there's a particular individual regarded as the authority, and their work is to match the buyers and sellers themselves. The costs are dead set utilizing a sales strategy. The current price is the highest amount of money any buyer is ready to pay, and the least cost at which someone is willing to sell. Once an exchange has been made, the items are sent back to the brokerage firm, who then tells the investor who submitted the request. Even though there's human contact in this methodology, don't believe that the New York Stock Exchange is still in the Stone Age. Machines play a colossal part in this method. The second sort of exchange is the virtual trade, and this is understood as the over-the-counter or OTC market. And this is the NASDAQ is the most ubiquitous of these. The proposed markets have no single physical location on floors trades whatsoever. Bartering is accomplished with a machine and telecommunications systems of dealers. It used to be the greatest groups were recorded just on the New York Stock Exchange, while all other second-tier stocks traded with other trades. Now, the tech blast of the 1990s modified this stuff. Now, the NASDAQ is home to a few colossal engineering associations, for example, Apple, Cisco, Dell, Intel, and Oracle, and this has brought about the NASDAQ ending up being a solemn contestant to the actual New York Stock Exchange. On the NASDAQ, brokers function as market makers for different stocks. A market maker furnishes consistent bid and ask numbers inside an endorsed rate spread for shares which they are designated to make a market. They might pair buyers and sellers occasionally, however, more often than not, they'll retain a supply of shares to meet the demand of investors. The third and greatest trade in the United States is the American Stock Exchange, and this is denoted with the letters AMEX or Amex. The Amex used to be an alternate to the New York Stock Exchange or the NYSE, yet that part has since been filled by the NASDAQ. As a matter of fact, the National Association of Securities Dealers, the NASD, which is the guardian of the NASDAQ, purchased the Amex in 1998. They bought it. Most of the exchanging now on the Amex is small-cap stocks and subordinates. There are numerous stock trades found in practically each nation far and wide. American businesses are undoubtedly the greatest, yet they still act for just a part of the aggregate speculation around the globe. The two other fundamental trading hotspots are London, which is the home of the London Stock Exchange, and Hong Kong, home of the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. The final spot worth specifying is the over-the-counter release board, the OTCBB. The NASDAQ is an over-the-counter board sector, yet the term regularly points to little open groups that don't meet the posting prerequisites of any of the directed markets. Incorporating the NASDAQ, Now, the OTCBB is home to the penny stocks in light of the fact that there's practically zero regulation. This makes financing an OTCBB stock extremely hazardous and risky. You've now studied what a stock is and a bit concerning the standard old-fashioned market. Yet how do you actually purchase stocks? Now rest assured, you don't need to go down to the trading pit yourself yelling and screeching your request. Only a special breed of individual will seek out that chaotic environment. I myself don't crave such noise and tension, so don't worry if the trading floor of the New York Stock Exchange seems unappealing to you. You'll be happy to hear there are two primary routes to buy stock. Now, number one, the most normal technique to purchase stocks is utilizing a firm. Brokers come in two distinct characters. Full aid brokers offer you trading advice and can operate your portfolio all by themselves. Because of the full service assistance, they understandably charge a ton. Markdown brokers offer less in the way of private consideration and attention, however, are much cheaper. In the past, just the well-to-do might pay for a broker because only the exorbitantly expensive, full utility advisors were available at the time. With the web came the blast of connected, inexpensive brokers. Their arrival was allowed almost anyone the ability to get involved in the market and begin investing. Number two, the second route to buy stocks is with a profit reinvestment plan. Now this is denoted by the symbols or the letters DRIPS, so DRIPS. And straight transaction plans, DIPS or DIPS, which are arrangements by which distinct groups for a negligible expense can buy stock directly from the association. DRIPS are an incredible course to contribute little measure of cash at a consistent interims, and their worth is not to be ignored. Any financial report will have stock quotes that will most likely look something similar to the picture beneath. Sections 1 and 2 are the 52-week high and low. These are the most noteworthy and least costs at which a stock has traded over the last 52 weeks. Now, 52 weeks is a year, so remember. Commonly, this should not incorporate the past days changing. Section 3. Company name and type of stock. This section records the name of the group. If there is no exceptional images or letters accompanying the name, it is a regular stock. Distinctive images suggest diverse classes of stock, for instance, and we had mentioned this before, PF signifies the portions are a preferred stock. Section 4. Ticker symbol. This one is an alphabetic name which distinguishes the stock. On the news, you might sometimes notice ticker tape scrolling across the bottom of the screen during their financial segment of the news report. The ticker tape is composed of letters and numbers which signify the recent prices next to the stock symbol. In the event that you are searching for stock quotes on the web, you'll find an association by the ticker symbol. Provided that you don't know the group's ticker symbol, you can easily find the symbol elsewhere online and return once you know what you're looking for. A simple Google search or a simple search will typically get you what you're looking for. Section 5. Dividend for every share. This shows the 12-month share installments for each share. Provided that there is space and the space is plain, and it regularly is, the group does not, as of now, pay out shares. Section 6. Dividend yield. This is the rate profit for the allotment. This is ascertained as 12-month shares for each share separated for cost for each portion. This could be important informative data when settling on an investment choice. Section 7. Price or earnings ratio. This is ascertained by isolating the present stock cost by profit for each stake from the final 4 quarters. We will take a while discussing the criticalness of this price and earnings degree. Section 8. Trading volume. This figure shows the sum number of shares traded for the day, recorded in hundreds. To get the genuine number exchanged, include a 00 or 00 to the close of the number recorded. This might be of criticalness in settling on an investment choice as well. Sections 9 and 10, day high and day low. This demonstrates the value that the stock has changed for the duration of that day. In different expressions, there are most extreme and the least costs that individuals have paid out for the stock on the day relating to that table. Section 11. Close. The end is the final trading cost recorded when the market closed that day. In the event that the closing cost is up or down more than 5% than the last day's shut, the whole posting for that stock is strong confronted. Remember, you are not insured to get this value provided that you purchase the stock the following day, for the reason that the value is continually modifying even after the trade is shut for the day. The end is just a pointer of that last and that past exhibition, and excluding in great factors serves as a ballpark of what you might as well need to pay. Section 12. Net change. This is the dollar quality change in the stock cost from the past day's closing cost. At the time that you know about a stock being up for the day, it denotes the net change was positive, and likewise for the stock being down for the day. These days, it is much easier for folks to get stock quotes from the internet. This technique is prevalent on account that most cities overhaul for the duration of that day and give you more qualified data, news, outlining, research, and so on. To get quotes, basically drop in the ticker tape into the quote box of any money-related post like Yahoo, Fund, CBS Market Watch, or MSN Money Central. The case beneath shows a quote for Apple from Yahoo Finance. There is an excess of brokerage groups out there, and both rebate and full aid brokerage groups. Each and every one of these aids claims to be the best. So how precisely would you be able to tell which intermediary is good for you? In the first place, how about we get one thing out of the way? I've already touched on this focus, however I ought to reiterate. In the event that you are heading off to do any trading, you should have a broker, period. Keep in mind, the end goal of purchasing or selling shares of stock, you require a stockbroker to help with this transaction. However, it may be more accurate to say that the stockbroker is the actual individual who performs the transaction. And this is exactly as a retailer is the go-between you and the folks who make the goods and services. Your specialist, otherwise called your stockbroker, is the connection between you and the stock trade, which is where the exchanges really occur. You as a single investor can't stroll into the New York Stock Exchange and purchase or sell stocks. Right now, the decision in front of you could be overpowering. To better comprehend what an intermediary is and how one works, I will illustrate the broker's part. A stockbroker is a selling specialist. A broker works for a stock market house. The broker's work is to do the transaction for you and in your favor. As you look for another dealer, you need to choose which services you need and what about you're ready to pay for them. There are more than enough professional appraisals and client fulfillment overviews that you can access on the web, yet heightened review scores don't matter much if the profoundly respected intermediary stock you pick doesn't help. Stockbrokers are paid by day or a commission on the transactions they do. A combination of both is not rare either. Stockbrokers must pass 2 licensing examinations, the Series 7 and the Series 63. Successfully passing these exams permits the intermediary to solicit you and to request your business, and also to execute transactions on your behalf. Remember that while numerous brokers pass their particular examination, this does not mean, and they are certainly not gods among men. In truth, when you fulfill this system, when you complete this course that we're doing with you, I suspect that you will be a more skilled research professional or research analyst than most actual brokers are. However, recall that you still won't be able to execute your particular exchanges. Research experts are other folks who ordinarily work for brokers, and they're the ones doing the examination of an association's business and industry. When you jump into your quest for that ideal stockbroker, ask yourself these questions. How much cash would you like to invest? What investment techniques will I utilize? What sort of items will I invest in? How much client backing will I require? Knowing where you stand with regards to these questions is basic and fundamental in assessing your potential brokers. Knowing these answers will put you well on your way to finding someone who is out there to help you and qualified to help you.